450 square feet. That's smaller than 1/10 the size of a basketball court. It's also the size of my place that I opened in 2010, Pleasant Plains Workshop. Pleasant Plains Workshop is located near Howard University in DC, and we do a lot of different things there, and I'm going to use the space today as a model for you to see how you can divide up a tiny space and create a multi-use space that also has multiple streams of income. Oops. So Pleasant Plains Workshop, this is a list of things we do there. We're an art gallery. We're also a shop featuring locally produced goods, small art items. We have art studios. It's also a classroom, an event space. We have a public art program, and it's sometimes used as a community meeting place, rehearsal space, or a pop-up shop. And that's all done here in this tiny storefront. It's about 10 feet wide and 40 some odd feet deep with a nice display window. This is a shot of the inside. As you can see, it's nice and cramped, which I actually find beneficial. When we have arts events there, people are really forced to engage with each other because they literally have nowhere to go. So now I'm going to talk about the layout of the space, starting from the back. This is where we have our art studios. One of the studios is used by myself, and we rent another one out to another artist, Anthony Deal. So this model has been nice for me because there's a fixed amount of income I know will be coming to the space every month from the studio rental. So we have 2 big tables, one for each of us. We share a big storage space, and we have a utility sink. So here's a picture of Anthony working on his side of the space. And we both produce items that are for sale in the shop up front. So as one of the benefits of being one of the studio renters, any sales you make out of the shop, you retain 100% of the sales. So walking up into the front of the space, we have the gallery area, which is the 2 walls in the front half of the space. And in this part of the shop, we show local and emerging artists, all different types of art, sometimes group shows, and that's a fun way to bring people into the space. And we also sell the artwork and share the art sales with the artist and the space. Next, we move into the shop, and as you can see, this is all in one room. But with some strategically placed bookshelves and clothing racks, we create other spaces for smaller art items, handmade jewelry, t-shirts, ties, all different types of books, magazines, and all locally produced. So it's a fun way to showcase a different set of artists when there's art on the wall as well. And it also has a different price point. So it's nice to offer framed art pieces, but also things at the $5 and $10 price point for people to walk away with when they come to one of our events. Next is our display window, and this is a lot of fun. We have artists every 4 to 6 weeks or so come in and do a different installation for the window. It often reflects what we have going on inside. So if there's an artist who's having a show at our space, they usually do an installation in the window. Or if we're having a pop-up vintage clothing shop, we do a crazy vintage clothing window. So this has been nice for me to engage with the community. It's visible at all times, whether the shop's open or closed. And it also acts as a billboard for what we have going on inside. And the last use of the space is the meeting, classroom, rehearsal space. So popping open some folding chairs and tables, we're able to utilize the space for poetry readings. We've had guest curators come talk and do critiques with artists. We also let community organizations rent the space out for an hourly rate. And I just love having people come into the space for different reasons because it always brings in a different set of foot traffic and just raises awareness for the space. So here's a picture of an event we had with a visiting curator. It was an art critique. You can see we jammed about 25 people in there. And here's a shot of some classes we teach there. So using the space. And we do these when the shop is closed. We can pop open tables. So some key components to a multi-use space like mine that's small is multi-use surfaces. So my studio table becomes the wine and snack area during our opening events. It's also key to have lots of folding chairs and tables that you can stow away when you're not having an event. And things on wheels, I've learned, are very ideal because you can move things around at quick notice. So all of our clothing racks and some of our printmaking drawing racks are on wheels, and we just wheel them away when we're not using them. And it's also helpful if you're not claustrophobic because it gets really cramped in there sometimes. So when you're starting your first commercial venture and looking around for a space, don't be deterred if the space you find is less than 1/100th the size of a football field or would barely pass as a walk-in closet in Beverly Hills, because something like this could turn into this. So think about what you would do with 450 square feet. Thank you.